Welcome back to Orchard Park. Dan Fates.
Windy Orchard Park.
Windy Orchard Park. I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thanks for joining us on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. If you like our content, our exclusive content talking about Bills practice, be sure to subscribe, like, comment. We always appreciate it. Dan, let's get into it. The Bills getting ready for Washington this weekend. It's going to be here at home at Highmark Stadium. What was one of your first takeaways from practice today?
I think the vibe is upbeat again. I think this is a confident team, and why shouldn't they be coming off a 35-point win? But Jenna, it also goes back to they won 35-0, and the offense really wasn't where it needs to be, and Josh Allen really wasn't where he wants to be after their win against their win in Miami.
Wow, already talking it into existence, I see. Yeah, we did get to talk to Josh Allen today. We get to talk to him every Wednesday, and he was asked so much about his game. Look, it's only been 2 games so far, but we haven't seen that Josh Allen that we're used to from last season.
Yeah.
It hasn't been MVP caliber. Now, Sean McDermott spoke today and said, sometimes it's about smart football.
Yeah.
But we have not seen that Josh that we have seen. But Allen was asked about that and what he makes of his performance so far.
Yeah, he's his harshest critic. He has said that for the last few years. That he was even asked after signing his massive contract extension, what were his expectations, or what do you think now the expectations become after signing for nearly $250 million? And he says, well, nobody's expectations, even in the media or the fans, are going to be as high as his are. And he was asked by Kim Jones of the NFL Network if he ever wants to be easier on himself or take it a little lighter, and he said he just wants it so bad that he wishes he could be a little lighter on himself, and that he sometimes gets so beat up and gets so hard on himself that he's not playing, and he wants to make, we've heard him say a lot over the years, I want to make every throw, I want to make every single play. But in reality, not every football player, not every person can be perfect all the time. Tom Brady's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Mike Catalana's not perfect.
I'm certainly not perfect.
Jenna's pretty close to it.
No, that's not.
But I thought that was
I didn't even pay you. Wow.
I know. I thought that was very telling, the fact that Josh being like, I wish I was easier on myself, because we heard Brian Dable on Monday say that sometimes he's the one that has to pep him back up because he gets so hard on himself.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show, like he says, he wants it so bad. But I think there can be something to watch out for in that, because I feel like if you're always down on yourself, you're always not doubting yourself, but frustrated with yourself. We haven't seen Josh get into that rhythm, and maybe him being in his head has been a part of that. Now, he did say, other than Brian Dable, that Stephon Diggs, he was asked, hey, is there a guy in that huddle that can kind of pick up on that and take you out of that? And he said it was Diggs. He said number 14. And just to have someone that, look, they were on, like, what was it, the cover of the Best Friends edition of Sports Illustrated for Kids. But how important is that?
Well, I think that goes to show you the relationship that they have, the fact that they can joke around, but there is also that level of, you always need that hype person, that even when you're down, you still got that guy that's like, man, you are still the best at everything you do, even after you throw an interception or things like that. Yeah. And that's the leadership I think we have seen from Stephon Diggs since he has arrived in Buffalo. Yeah. So I think that's great. I think you always need to have somebody in your personal corner being like, you're the best. Don't ever change. Keep doing you. And obviously we now know that Josh Allen's is Stephon Diggs.
I will say, I'm going to tell you this for free, Dan Fates is my hype man. He's the president of my hype club.
Yep, Jenna Cottrell fan club. I am the president.
All right, enough about us. But let's get back to it, because we also got to hear from, after practice today, someone we really don't hear from ever. And that's AJ Epinesa. He was the Bills' first pick from a draft ago. So he was 54th overall, second round pick. Second round pick, thank you. He had 9 total pressures against the Dolphins. It was almost like his coming out to the league, and for fans across the league to be like, oh, who's that guy? Yeah. We got to see a totally different side to him, though.
Yeah, we got to talk to him at the podium, which is something we really haven't gotten able to do to him, as well as we got to sit down with him exclusively, kind of one-on-one, and kind of chalk it up. That'll be coming up, content that'll be coming up in the near future. But AJ just kind of talked about how the fact that this D-line is all together in this is one, and that sacks are the most important thing, and that sacks win football games. And they dominated the defensive line. And we kind of questioned him and said, what about quarterback pressures? And he goes, those lead to sacks, which then you can connect the dots that say those lead to wins. So I think where you really kind of got to see another side of AJ Epinesa, where he has a personality. He has fun with this, and to get to see all of those things, which is, again, last year in the COVID year, he talked about how hard it was, everything. Was very telling, and kind of getting to see kind of the guy behind a helmet.
That's the thing. I can't even imagine what it was like for these rookies last year,
Yeah.
coming in with the COVID season, really not being able to get in the building till essentially right before the season started, getting to know guys over Zoom. Like, there was so much that went into that. And also, what he did this past offseason, how that's impacted. And, we'll have that story coming up for you all. And I think it's going to be really cool because he's a guy that, they drafted Greg Rousseau, they drafted Boogie Basham. He also got into what their relationship is like as the three youngest guys kind of coming onto this D-line. But that's someone I think we're going to hear about so much more because I think the results are going to come because of the work that he has put in.
Yeah.
But we talk about the defensive line. Star Lotulelei did not practice today.
Yeah, again, now he was dealing with a calf injury before. Now it's a groin injury. He did not practice. Not a good sign. And you have to start to think about how much he played a factor in Miami. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't play week one. The Bills didn't get enough pressure. Now, Ben Roethlisberger got rid of the ball in under half a second. That was part of the reason why the Bills only had 2 sacks against Pittsburgh, and then they had 6 sacks in Miami. But he's a crucial part of this defense, as we learned last year in the Bills' sudden turnaround with the defense so far through this first 2 weeks. So it's going to be something that you want to monitor because I still think you want Star at 80% going out there and clogging up the middle, opening up things for Rousseau as well as Epinesa on the outside.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we got to hear from Jordan Poyer today after practice. And it's so funny because as reporters, you hear so many cliches covering a football team. And Jordan acknowledges, he's like, look, guys, I'm sorry I'm saying the same thing in terms of we're just trying to get 1% better every day. It's a grind, all of these things. We can't get too high. But he talked about where that confidence comes from. And I thought that was a really important point.
Well, I think all these cliches, we talked about one of our podcasts on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, that all these cliches are just words until you start to win. And when, when Sean McDermott says you have to trust the process and you got to, find a way, all of those things, if they lose, they don't mean anything. But when you go to the AFC Championship game, all of a sudden you can say, that process that we've been trusting, it works. Yeah. And so for Poyer to kind of say, how good's this defense? Where's the confidence level? And him be like, one day at a time, one game at a time. He's like, I know these are cliches, and I know. He's like, but we really believe in these things. Yeah. I thought is very telling as to where this defense is, maturity-wise.
Yes.
They played together for 5 to 6 years.
Great point.
And they said that that's where they get confidence, that Levi Wallace has Jordan Poyer's back, and that they all trust one another. So this is a defense, again, that is on the rise. Last year did not meet up to their standards. This year playing up to what probably over expectation so far through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they talked about that approach and preparation and commitment and the trust that they have. And I think so far we have seen that. Obviously, it is a week-to-week league, but at the same point, I don't foresee anything derailing that, at least at this point. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know how much we always appreciate it. We'll have more coverage coming up. The Bills getting ready to host Washington here.
Preview of what to look for in that Washington football game with a sports reporter from the D.C. area, Scott Abraham. Great insight. He's a Bills fan who covers the Washington football team. Great insight. What to expect for with Taylor Heineke. Just some little things like that. Terry McLaurin, some other guys that we may not know a whole lot about because they play in the NFC Beast, and just the fact of what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Taylor Heineke's first road start in the NFL. I think that's very telling and really great insight. So if you haven't clicked on that yet, go watch that video. That was posted Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, we'll have that. We'll have the AJ and Panessa story coming up. We'll have all your pregame
podcast tomorrow.
Podcast as well. We can't stop working.
Content game.
I'm
addicted to it.
All right, for Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully we don't blow away. We'll catch you next time on the Buffalo Plus channel.